TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Good morning, good day, depending on where you are tuned in from. This is the Thursday Morning Digest by Elevate TV, and we always come to you live from our TV studios right at the heart of the city of Nairobi. And I'm your host, Laureen Magotsi. We have yet another opportunity to learn, to grow, to get information about our children and the activities that we can engage them in as they prepare to go on holiday. So this morning we have this amazing guest that will be taking us through, and of course before we do that we'll get to know her journey, how she got to where she is, and then we can look at what activities we can engage our children in. So without taking much time, allow me to introduce our guest this morning, and I'll ask her to just introduce herself. She'll tell us her name. She'll give us a bit about herself. So karibu sana Belinda.
Asante sana.
Yes.
My name is Belinda Adik. The founder and the director at Blue Sapphire Schools,
Yes.
Nairobi. We are located at Kangundo Road, Obama Estate.
Okay.
A lawyer by profession.
Yes.
A mother of 4, 2 sets, 2 older and 2
Younger.
very much younger. So I have 2 secondary school and 2 toddlers.
Wow.
Yes, so
Okay.
that is Belinda.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you so much for coming to our show.
Thank you for having
It's
me.
really, really a great pleasure for us to host you. Yeah. So we just want to get to know more about you a little, and just to find out. Okay, I hear you are a lawyer by training, but you are in business.
Yes.
How did that switch happen?
Well, for me, I will say law was not my chosen career, unfortunately.
Okay.
Parents sometimes tend to choose courses for their children,
Yes,
and that is what happened to me. Once you're done with your high school and you have good grades and you tell your parent, I want to be a business person, it's something they will not understand. What do you
Yes.
mean by you want to be a business person? They want you to be an engineer. They want you to be a doctor. They want you
Yes.
to be a lawyer.
Yes.
So for me, I got admission letters in university outside the country, and I just found them on the table, and my dear, you're going outside the country and you're going to do law. So that is how I ended up doing law.
Okay.
But business is something I am passionate about.
Okay.
And I think recently, like 3 years or 2 years ago, my mother actually looked at me in the eye and owned up and said, I think I made a wrong choice for you. That this was not for you. This is what you can do best. So it's something I really enjoy doing, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's interesting that you mentioned how as parents we choose for our children, and yet sometimes we don't really consider the passion of the children.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you think that has helped you now in terms of parenting your own children?
I allow them to make choices. Not so much because as a parent also you have to be a guiding factor.
Yes.
But allow them to be, and I think this has really even helped me in terms of how I handle the children and the parents in my school, because we want them to allow the children to be, just be a guiding force behind this particular child. Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So fast forward to now, you start a school.
Yes.
What led you to start a school?
Well, as I've said, I have 2 older, I have 2 younger.
Yes.
So I saw how my older went through the education system,
Yes.
which was the 844. Not a bad system, but I am preferring the CBC kind of education.
Wow.
Yes, because
Okay.
it is allowing children to be. I usually say there's no child that is stupid. Every child has something within them.
Yes.
That CBC tends to bring out.
Yes.
Yeah. So I looked at my third born, Abigail. She's a multi-talented child. Based on where we live in Saika, I tried to look for a school that was talent-based or CBC-based, but you found most schools are still inclined towards 844, even as we are pursuing CBC. You know, so they are so much on academics and numbers and papers, and I was like, this is not what I want for my child.
Yeah.
The schools that are offering the CBC or the talent-based curriculum, they again end up being too expensive for most parents based on the environment we are in. We are in Eastlands. So you find that a fee of 40,000, 50,000 is something most parents cannot afford based on where they are. So you find that the children are disadvantaged. You don't have choices. You just have to stick to what is being provided. So for me, that actually led me to opening this school. I will tell you for free. I had the school motto, our school motto. Yes. Before I had the name of the school. Wow. Before I had the uniform color. The first thing I came up with was our school motto. Our school motto is learning beyond books. Wow. And that is really what we are after that. Can we learn beyond these academics? You know, can we just allow children to be playful? Because playing is part of learning. Yes. You know, only that we I don't know why we are so structured towards academics, you know. And I will say that is the same thing that happened to me, because my parents were structured towards careers. You know, I want a career that is white collar. I want a career that is all this. So it is all about pushing you. I want the grades, I want the grades, I want the grades. Then once you get the grades, now I want the course. You know. Yes, so that is what happened.
Okay. Wow. Okay. But you raise a very important point that maybe we need to discuss a little more. Is there's been a lot of backlash, you know, against CBC. So I'm happy actually to have somebody who is praising that system. So is it that people have not understood it? Where is the mismatch? Because if it is a good system, yet we have so many people against it, where are we missing it?
CBC is a good system. What we have, I don't want to put the blame anywhere, but we have busy parents.
Okay.
You know, who don't want to get involved. CBC is parent involving. Okay. I want you to do with this child. I want you, we are used to, you come with your homework, do it, go back to school. Mtoto ni wa mwalimu. You know, even now we are closing schools next week, and I can tell you for free, parents are not even happy about it. You know, because mutafungwa, we have not yet even closed. You want us to start opening. You know, so we have a generation that I can say fear the children. And because CBC is parent involving, we want you to create this one, and you want you to come up with this one, and you want you to go and look for a career rest, and we want you to so though again it ends up being an expensive system for most parents, you know, because most of these things, they cost money. You know, when I want you to go and bring me a doctor's lab coat, it costs money. Money that you probably don't have. You know. So it has its pros and cons, but for the children, it is a good system. And I think as educators, it's something we should really embrace.
Wow, interesting. So I think from your discussion, you felt that you couldn't find the ideal school, and so that led you to start one. So what is different about your school?
Our school, I will say, number one, we are on purely CBC. We have parents who have taken their children from the school because they feel you're not as academic as they want you to be. You know, because we are used to children grade 2, grade 3 going to school on a Saturday. For what reason? You know, so we are really trying to be the change that we want.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
We are really trying to incorporate activities,
Yes.
allowing children to figure out their talents,
Yes.
and their interests, you know, so that we create a change that we really want.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think there's a discussion we had offline earlier that I want you maybe to share. What are the challenges that you faced in just setting up the school? Yeah, and then you can also talk about in running the school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, starting a school is capital intensive.
Yeah. Okay.
Number one. Highly capital intensive. So that was our original challenge, that we have to come up with a capital.
Okay.
Being that we are based in Eastlands,
Yes.
spaces are not there.
Yes.
It is Magorofa after Magorofa after Magorofa. And when you want to create a school that is activities require space.
Yes.
So our second challenge has been getting an ideal spacing for the children, to allow them to run around. You don't find space for children to run around. Even in our homes, our children are cocooned in the houses because outside is insecure, it is small, there's nothing, maybe it's not hygienically correct, so space was our second challenge. I would love to also put it to you that our school is not that old. Okay. Our school, I will say, is 6 to 8 months old, because we started a bit late last year, so we are not that old. So we are still going through the teething process of opening a school. We are not yet there, but we are willing and we are ready to go through the challenges with whatever we are getting.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm really pressing on this because there could be somebody watching, and viewers, I hope you're following, and please feel free to share any questions you have on our Facebook page. We'll be able to answer them. But I'm pushing because there could be somebody who's feeling, okay, maybe I want to start a school, or I'm struggling with my own children where I can take them to school and all that. So that now the insights that you share may help them to be able to figure out, you know, how to deal with it. Okay, so so fine. You set up capital space. You've run the school for the last 8 or so months. How has that been for you? Because I remember, I keep saying I'm also a parent. Yeah. And sometimes I think teachers must feel I'm a very difficult parent. You know? Yeah. So what are some of the challenges?
You're the parents that require
What do we take you through?
You're the parents that CBC is for you, because as again I've said, with a school you're dealing with 3 or 4 sets of people. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You're dealing with your staff members. Yes. You're dealing with your parents. Yes. You're dealing with the children. Sometimes what works for the children might not work for the parent. Yeah. What works for the staff might not work for, you know. So it's actually a very tough balance in between, leave alone the capital and all that. Yes. Just the running of the school is a balancing act. Because the teacher has sent the child, the parent is not responding, the teacher complains to you. The parent has a problem, the child has a problem, the parent complains to you. You know, yeah. So it's something, if you're not passionate about, you will give up in the next few. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I say a school business is one that will try to kill you before you hack it. Wow. So it's actually a very tough balance, and you have to find an in-between. Yeah? For example, you don't allow your parents to disrespect your staff. Yeah. Because this is the person that stays with your child for 8 hours that probably in your lifetime you don't have with your child. Yes. Because you get home at 8, you leave home at 4. Yes. You're sleeping. So you don't have that time.
Yes.
So when I come and tell you your child has this problem and you don't want to agree. We've had instances where a parent is insisting on bringing a sick child to school. Because they don't have time. I have to go to work. You know.
Yeah.
So being that you have to go to work and you don't have somebody to watch over them, school becomes the easiest place. I've had a parent come and dump a child at my gate and run away, and the child was sick. You know. Yeah, so we have a thermometer for the children. You mentioned, you're like, this is a 37 point something degrees.
Wow.
And now you have to start, you have to be the one to now take to hospital, because again, you know, if anything happens to a child, and you're the adult in the situation.
Yes.
So if anything happens to this child within your confines, let me tell you, even that parent will not want to know that that child was sick. You know, the police, the authorities, they will not want to know that this parent brought the child sick. You know, so you take it upon yourself as the administration. You rush the children. Let us deal with the other issues later. Yeah. So those are some of the challenges that you will deal with in terms of our children, in terms of our modern parenting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, which brings me to the point that I think we really need to take a step back as parents in this generation and really ask ourselves, are we really being good parents? Because I hear what you're saying. A parent is caught in the middle of, I need to work, I need to put bread on the table, I need to take care of my children, I need to make sure I give them their attention. From where you sit, what would be your advice to parents?
And also, you've forgotten to mention, you need to pay for this school also. So you actually need that money.
Yes.
You know, you can't afford to lose that job.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Yes.
True.
So you also can't afford to lose your child. Let me tell you, I used to be a busy parent. Busy. Like, busy to the point I am 8 months pregnant and I'm still running around until I almost lost a child. My third born. I'm 8 months pregnant. I work for various government institutions here and there. I have my businesses running up and down. I leave the child at the daycare because, again, you know what happens with having girls around. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, so you have to. So what I used to do, I would. She wasn't a good feeder. And for me, that was an advantage because hata nisumbua na kukula. I used to buy her milk. And I was busy to the extent I never had time to boil this milk. I would put it na packets kwa maji moto. You know, it is warm enough kunywa. So in the morning, because I'm in a hurry, I will drop her with a packet of milk to the daycare. So tamchemshia akunywe and some Weetabix, and I will go to work. And in the evening when I come, I'm picking the child late. I have to go and blah blah blah. She's tired. Kunywa maziwa. You know. So this child was sick for some time. Up to some point where you will feel the breathing, and I was a nurse as well because I would kunywa Calpol fever. Kunywa Calpol, you know, and this is a mistake we parents make, you know, that you want to go and buy drugs over the counter, nimesikia na kohoa, nimempatia nini Calpol, paracetamol amekunywa, you know, so that is what I used to do. So I get to a point where now I'm going for clinic for my 8th month, and I'm not taking the child because she's sick. I'm taking her along because either way I'm going to hospital and I have to go to the clinic. So I get to the clinic and I tell the doctor, this child has some issues. I feel it's pneumonia. You know? So, feeling it's pneumonia, I'm sent to the lab like, this doctor ananisumbua. You know? So the lab, blah, blah, blah. Where I'm taking to the lab, I'm like, see, you've seen what the problem is. Can you just give us drugs? Busy parents. You know? And the lab is like, no, just go back to the hospital where you've been sent from. The minute you get there and she sees the results, the doctor runs. And I'm like, what is the problem? Carry that child, she's not supposed to be walking. Her blood level is 4.2 from 12. Her oxygen level is under 50%. And the next minute you are in an ambulance. And the next minute you're being taken to a level 4. and everything is spiraling downwards very, very quickly, and she has acute pneumonia, and she has everything you can think of in a child. So it's tough choosing between your job and your child. What I will pray for or ask for from parents is finding a balance.
Okay.
Finding a balance in between, because what are you working for? You're working for this child, right? Yeah. You can't afford to lose this job. So can we find an in-between whereby I'm a parent and I'm also a proper employee? Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I think that's a wake-up call. I'm just listening to your story and I can identify, you know, that sometimes the child is sick or the children are sick and you feel, okay, let's just get medication, as long as they are at home and they are taking medication, they'll be fine, you know. And because you really need, we are in this rat race, so to speak, where we really need to make ends meet, etc., etc. So I hope that the parents that are watching, you are actually taking notes and understanding the importance of balance, the importance of just spending time with your children and, you know, managing your priorities, because to a large extent it affects not just the health of your child but the well-being, you know, in totality of your child. Very interesting. I just want to maybe dwell on that a little more because I've been there, trust me. Yeah, so for that parent, therefore, that perhaps is finding themselves in that place and they need to do that balance, do you have any tips that you can share? Because from me where I sit, I'm like, okay, there's need to really find even employers that are understanding. Not many are.
Yes.
But to just try and create an atmosphere at our workplaces that allows people to prioritize, you know, even their families. I know there are a couple of corporates that do that now.
True.
Employers, you know, I think I'm privileged to be in a place where I, you know, I have, you know, that leeway. But to that parent then who is just out there and saying, I hear you, but now.
Nitafanya aje.
Yeah.
Support system.
Okay.
Support system.
Wow.
I would not say spouse, because again we have to agree to the trends that are current, that we have a lot of single parent families around, you know, and sometimes you're the only parent in this child's life, and you're the provider, and you're the doctor, and you're the parent, and you're everything to this child. You can't afford to lose your job. Have a support system. The support system doesn't necessarily mean your spouse. It can be your siblings, it can be your neighbors, it can be even the shopkeeper. You know, just find a support system. Your church members, somebody you can call and like, I'm late at work, can you pick this child for me, you know, or can you take this child to hospital on my behalf, you know, because again, health issues are health issues, and sometimes you cannot, and some employers, they feel, you're too much, you know, you can't be taking an off every other week, because again, even the employers in business, you know, so you really cannot blame them for wanting you to be at work, you know, because you being absent means he's losing money. So and you'll find that some employers even refuse to employ women because they're like, women tuko na mambo mengi. Unaona, they're like, sasa wewe kesho you're pregnant, the other day you're doing all these, you know. So find a support system. You can get somebody, give them transport, you'll take this child to hospital for me, you know. Ukuwa na mkono raisi. Because again, all these things, they cost money, you know. If I'm going to take a child to hospital on your behalf, utasimamia kama ni lunch, you know. So unakuwa a bit flexible in terms of, but find a support system. Okay. You mentioned that and I laughed because I remember my first pregnancy, somebody told me children come with two mouths. The mouth of the child and the caregiver. So you need to plan when you're planning your family, plan for the extra extra mouth
that is
it's true
that is required. So viewers, I hope you are listening. You need a support system, and I think for me that is a key takeaway even from our discussion in this segment, that it's important for parents to have support systems that help them even, you know, take care of their children so that, you know, they can be able to even focus and, you know, grow as they ought to in school. So we've moved. I want us to go back to the school. Yeah, but it's healthy. I think it's a very healthy discussion because many people don't really voice it.
Yes.
We go through it and we keep quiet. Many women go through it and they keep quiet. In fact, some even get frustrated.
Yes.
And they even get to a point where they feel, hey, these children, you know, was I really ready, you know, and all that. So it's useful. But now when we go back to the school, so does your school, for example, have a structure then that helps some of these very busy parents, or how do you adjust to now this current,
all these
yes,
current parenting?
Yes.
Number one, we have a contract with the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Within our school. So as much as we don't want parents to bring in sick children, sometimes a child can fall sick
Yes.
when they are with you.
Yes.
You know. So what do you do? Do you start calling a parent and like, kama shule hatuna pesa kwanza sisi venye sasa ndio tunaanza, you know, tufanye aje, you know, you lazima ukuje, and you will not tell your employer at 10 that my child is sick, I want to go home.
Yeah.
You know. So what we do, we have signed a contract with the hospital, and we take the children definitely at your cost at the end of the day.
Yes.
But for that particular period of time,
Yeah.
we will just alert you that this child is unwell, and parents actually sign on their health form and allow us to take their children. We will take them to the hospital that we have a contract with.
Yes.
They will treat even them. They know how to teach pesa. They will treat mzazi hajatuma pesa. Wewe tupatie to bill, the parent will pay.
Wow.
You know.
Wow.
So that is actually how we've tried to mitigate some of these challenges that are facing our modern parenting, because it has happened to us.
Yes.
We are those modern parents. You know. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Beautiful. Excuse me. Yeah, so I think that's very useful. And then also now, in terms of running the school, staffing, because you had a number of, you have a number of stakeholders. You have your staff,
Yes.
you have the kids, you have the parents, and then of course you have the state and regulatory bodies, etc. So how has it been with you and your staff? Yeah.
Staffing is challenging.
Okay.
Number one, because you have to find a staff that fits your values, your mission, your vision.
Yes.
As a school. You know, so you want what are, you know,
Yes.
will be in support of the vision.
Yes.
And as much as people complain that there are no jobs in this country, staffing is a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting good employees is a challenge. We've had our fair share as young as we are.
Yes.
Right now, I will say we are settled.
Okay.
In terms of, because the way we staffing for me, I depend mostly on referrals.
Yes.
Because right now I am here. I have left people's children.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
in the hands of
Your staff and
I need to know that I am leaving the children in the hands of adults.
Yes.
You know, and not just adults, but responsible adults.
Yes.
So how do I know that they're responsible adults?
Yes.
Mostly I depend on referrals. Mostly I depend on referrals.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Again, sometimes you get a referral and it still doesn't work out.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah, so we just issue our warnings if it doesn't work out, if you're not good with the children, we release.
Yes.
Yes, because in all this equation, the children are the important factor.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Wow. Wow. It's interesting that you mention that despite many people looking for jobs, there's still a staffing challenge.
There is a staffing challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. So is it that our workforce is not prepared? Is it that our workforce is not responsive? Because I don't know. I was taught that you go to an organization, you understand the organization, and then you fit into what you find. Yeah. What is your experience?
My experience, especially with now the current, they're called the Gen Z, they are looking at the money factor before they look at the job. Somebody won't even ask you what is my job description. Somebody won't ask you what is the level of education that you require.
Yes.
They will ask you first question.
What's your sir?
How much are you paying?
Hey.
You know, so how much are you paying? How sure am I that you will fit? Because I can be paying and sometimes as employers you can choose to adjust based on you've gotten somebody who's actually fits and is over and above. You know, you would go that extra mile or extra coin for them. So give me what you have. You know, let us discuss the pay after I get what you have. You don't ask me how much I'm paying. What if I'm telling you, I don't know. You know,
Wow. Well, viewers, we have to take a break right about now. I think it's a very interesting discussion. We'll pause it there. We'll come back and say and talk about why maybe staffing is still an issue, and then we delve into, you know, holiday activities. So don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after this break.
There's no nation, no town, no city without fathers.
Being a Holy Spirit driven church is New Testament.
The quality of the message, it was based in Acts chapter 2.
And I took my Bible and I went from street to street. Is anybody dead here?
We never met those miracles a reason to appeal for money or to be known. No.
Tracing the Mantles is a program whose core is to identify mantle carriers from our fathers.
That Catholic woman stood and he was sliding everywhere. He said, oh yes, now this is the black Catholic woman.
But these are not only mantles, but spiritual authorities that have paid the cost, stood the test of time,
You are given 6 hours to leave the country.
and made lots of sacrifices for the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Many of us invested in the school, college, university ministry.
But these are not only mantles, but spiritual authorities.
One of the things that bring revival in this country is the power of the Holy Spirit, the presence of the Holy Spirit.
Catch Tracing the Mantles every Sunday from 8:30, hosted by Pastor Zunda Juma, only on Elevate TV.
Welcome back, viewers. I hope you've been able to catch a cup of tea or a glass of water during the break so that we can continue with our very important discussion this morning. Again, I'm your host, Laureen Magotsi, and this is the Thursday Morning Digest on Elevate TV. And so my guest is still in studio, Belinda. Again, thank you for taking time to be part of our show. So we're talking about this issue about how we can be having challenges with staffing, yet there are so many people who don't have jobs and they are looking for jobs. And we had discussed about how somebody just comes and they're like, hey, you know, how much are you paying? So rather than considering whether they are a fit for the job, they want to first find out how much money, you know. Yeah, so basically I'm happy that you say you've settled, but are there any lessons perhaps that you could share with us or our viewers in terms of some of the tips that you've had that have helped you come to a point where you can say reasonably you have settled? Yes.
Again, as I had mentioned, referrals are important so that you have a background.
Yes.
Children are sensitive.
Yes.
You know, children are very sensitive in terms of who you live them with, so you need to have a background of this particular person.
Yes.
So the best way to get somebody with a background is through referrals.
Yes.
You know, still, it doesn't mean that you will not have a walk-in and hire. You know,
yes.
But you have to look at what is the attitude of this person.
Yes.
In our school, we don't allow caning. We don't believe children should be caned. You know, so when somebody is, you will even see, because most of the time you will find me in school. Mostly at the morning hours up to around noon, I'm always in school. So you will always see if this person really has an interest with the children, because children is not just about teaching.
Oh yeah.
You see, it's about somebody who can you run around with the children? Can the children come to you?
Yes.
You know, like in our school, we hug children every morning. Why? Because you don't know where this child is coming from.
Yes.
Some of these children are coming from very hard homes.
Yes.
You know, so they've spent the night, maybe they didn't even sleep. Then they come in the morning and you're there shouting about homeworks. And, you know? Yeah. So we want to create a safe space.
Wow.
And I think that is what I have really pushed into my staff members, that we are creating a safe space for these children.
Yes.
That can they come to you? You know?
Yes.
Can they address you? I don't know if it is proper to share this one, but I've had children who joined us this term. And there are 3, grade 1, PP2 and PP1. And when they came, they could actually mess in their clothes at that age. And when they would get to class, they come to class 7:15, 7:20. By 7:40, they're sleeping. And my question, I called the parent.
Yes.
In the 3rd day, I called the parent because I'm like, what is going on? They said, where they were, the teachers don't want to be disturbed. Hasa mtoto akiingia class, peana kitabu ya homework, lala kwa meza. You know, so they are so used to, akifika shule, analala kwa meza, mpaka mwalimu atamuamusha. You know, because the teacher doesn't want noise.
Yeah.
You know, and the teacher does not want, you want to go to the toilet, you want to do what? So, actually the first 3-4 days we had those incidences. Then they realized this is a different environment. You know, you don't have to beg to go to the toilet, because it's a natural occurrence for a child. Even if sometimes children are playful in nature, and that is what they're supposed to be.
Yes.
You know,
I love that.
Yeah, you don't. What do you expect children to be? Adults. They're children.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So, why are you saying wanaenda huko kucheza? You know, they're supposed to be playful, just controlled.
Yes.
But playful is their nature.
Yes.
So ukisikataza mtoto kwenda msalani, kwa sababu ataenda kucheza. And we have maybe a serious incident or a child that is not playful. Your assumption. You know. Yeah. So those are some of the challenges we've had even with the children who are coming to school. Yes. Yeah.
Wow. 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 Okay. I personally, I knew I didn't have call to, you know, like Sunday school. That one I know. It's not my calling. I can play with children. I can talk to children. But you put me there consistently with them to teach them. I agreed. That one,
it is not yours.
It's not mine. So I really, really appreciate and honor people who can actually do that consistently. It's a rare grace.
It's a calling.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so we appreciate that. So now I want us to talk about holiday activities. I know you are going to have holiday activities.
Yes.
But before we talk about the activities you are going to have, let's just understand why are holiday activities important, especially in the background of this modern parenting that we are seeing. Why is that important?
Generally, activities, leave alone the holiday aspect, are important for a child.
Yes.
For their physical well-being.
Yes.
For their mental well-being.
Yeah.
For their social development.
Okay.
Because again, as modern parenting, we have phones in the house for children. Unfortunately, we have tabs, we have computers. And as we have teachers who don't want to be disturbed, we have parents who don't want to be disturbed.
Yes.
So how easy is it that parents do not disturb? Chukua simu. You know,
yes.
Even in my house, it happens. I will not say that I am perfect.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
Yeah. So it is just the easier way out for a parent.
Yeah.
And because they will want your phone. Ukingia kwa nyumba mama nipatie simu. I buy you your own.
Yes.
You know, so that tusisumbuane. I am here with my phone, daddy is there with his phone, you are there with your phone.
Yes.
You know, and when mommy and daddy goes to work, I remain with my phone.
Yes.
You know, so we have a generation, this coming generation, that is, can I say worse? I don't know, than the Gen Z we have. Because now these ones,
yes.
Again, as we were discussing earlier, when you have the two sets of children, you've had two older who were raised when phones were not so easily available and Wi-Fi was not there in the houses and bundles were too expensive.
Yes.
And now to this one, that is a Wi-Fi generation, you know, that everything is on. You know, the TV is using Wi-Fi and they can search anything that they want at any given time. When you have such two sets of children, you will note the difference.
Yes.
You will know the difference because the first ones are more hardy. They can do 1, 2, 3s. These other ones, they are couch potatoes, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yes.
So you reckon then that it's important for them to have these activities so that we get them away, you know, from all these gadgets and give them an opportunity to be active. Let me tell you, I remembered, actually, I think I shared this with you when we were, you know, before we started the show, that I went to a local supermarket somewhere and I found, what do we call them? We call them marbles. Our time, we used to call them banta. That's generations ago. So, you know, we'll take those marbles and we used to play, both boys and girls. You dig a hole, basically, a small one in the ground, and then you're busy hitting. And you're hitting with your fingers, you're positioning your fingers. And I realized, it just dawned on me that we actually had games. We may not have understood why they were important then, but they helped us to develop even physically, because I was telling you, I had an incident where a child was being told, their fingers are not well developed. So, you know, teachers are recommending, I don't know, buy plasticine, whatnot, so that they can try to...
They can play around with the fingers.
They call it to improve their motor.
Psychomotor.
Yes. So, and I realized that for us growing up, we didn't have many of those challenges because the games we played took care of all those challenges.
And we were outside all the time.
Yes.
You know, you were actually being forced to be inside.
Yes.
At 8 in the morning, you've taken your breakfast.
Out.
Umepotea.
Yes. So I'm just trying to connect that with what we are discussing today to say that I think it's important for parents to actually, you know, get those activities. And then there's also another point you made earlier in the discussion, that in the places we stay, there's hardly any space,
no space.
For our children to play. So that if there's an opportunity where children can go and do activities, I really think that parents should
allow.
Okay, so some of the activities, you can tell us some of the activities that you'll be maybe undertaking or you'll be taking children through, and what's really the thinking behind them.
Before I get into the activities so much, I will still go back into the psychomotor.
Yeah.
We have parents who believe kuna mchezo zingine ni chafu. Like riding the tires.
Yes.
You know? And you are my generation.
Yes.
We even had those big tinga tires that somebody would get inside and they ride you inside. I'm not saying you do that one, you know. But The tires are very important for figure development. We are having 4-year-olds who cannot. That is why parents are always asked to buy crayons, because we have children who have not developed the fingers. So playgroup class, and you will actually have a parent coming to school and tell you, mbona mtoto wake wa playgroup hapatui kazi ya kuandika. Playgroup class, which is not even a government whatever class, because the classes, the government CBC design starts at PP1. The playgroup class is usually for psychomotor development, you know, where they color and plasticine almost.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah, so don't come and ask me why I'm not giving homework. You know? We are developing this child because this child has been in the house with phones. Phones don't develop psychomotor.
Yeah.
Yes. So, siseme ati anafanyanga hivi ati vidole zinasonga. You know? So,
parents, I hope you're listening and following
on
this.
On psychomotor, again, allowing the children to be. Now, on the activities, we have controlled activities.
Okay.
You know, because again, we cannot have everything, you know, within a school and within the given period.
Yes.
So we have controlled activities. What we are looking at in the activities maybe is talent development or just growing a child, because again, as I told you earlier, no child is stupid. Every child has something within them. When we had our here on last week on Monday, because that is when we started on our activities in school, you find a child that is usually so cocoon.
Yes.
They've gone out there and they have actually shown in football, and you have clapped for them.
Yes.
And they come back to class and they do better.
Wow.
Why? Because now their esteem
has been boosted.
Yes, they're like, so I can do something well. So even this one I can do.
Yes.
Because again, we have maybe some parents who keep on criticizing a child. You can't do something right. Look at your work. Look at your books. Look at you.
Yes.
You know, but there's something this child is good at. And not every child is good at everything. Agreed. You know, some are good at football, some are good at skating, some are good at dancing. And when they're there and they're shining, and so at the end of the day, every child is feeling special. You know, because every child ameshine kwa level yake. Unaona, ameenda pale kwa dancing, kwa dancing yako shine sana, kuna ule alishine. You clapped for them. You know, you went to something else, na kuna ule alishine. So at the every child feels like they're part of. And let me tell you, it has boosted even that. I wish I had even carried a book. There's a child who was so poor in terms of how they're writing and blah, blah, blah. And the minute we went to that football pitch, I was surprised. I was like, so there's something he's good at. And when we came back now, his confidence is up here. So activities are very, very important for a child.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. You know, I don't talk about my stories much, but I really relate with what you're saying. That sometimes you can struggle with a particular issue, and I struggled when I was in school. I struggled with a particular issue, but then the minute I discovered I could actually be good at something else, my self-esteem, you know, completely changed, because I realized, and I remember, in fact, what had happened is I was able to answer a question that nobody else was able to. And you see, the other people were the people you'd say, these are the clever people, these are the intelligent. Yeah. And that is how my life actually, I got a turning point, in my life. And so I fully relate with what you're saying. And I think it's very important for parents to understand that with some of these programs, okay, we are talking about holiday activities, but I think the most important point to carry home is extra, you call them co-curricular activities, whether it is swimming, football, whatever it is that you're able to take your child to, is very important. And listen to them, because that's what I'm hearing from you. Listen to your child, observe them, what are their talents, because if they can flourish in their talents, it will help them. and give them really the zeal and the, you know, interest even to succeed in other areas. Yeah, I think this is a very, very informative session. Okay, so we've looked at the nexus between the co-curricular activities and school performance. Is there any other advantage maybe you want to share?
The social development of a child. You know,
yes.
we have, again, I'll go back to our generation where we meet for coffee.
Yes.
But you're on your phone and I'm on my phone.
Yeah.
You know, I am more interested in what the people out there are discussing more than what I am discussing with you.
Yes.
You know, and that is also the children you are bringing up. I've had, you go with your children to their cousins and they reach there and like, Mom, nisaidie na simu yako.
Hey.
You know, so what did you come to do in the first place?
Yes.
You know, again, teen parents or pre-teen. I know there's this, Kwanza mothers to sons. There's this program on TV called Roblox. The way I hate that thing. Because my son would sit for hours and you will talk and they cannot hear.
Oh.
Because they are where? And when you ask them, what is that thing? I've never understood. I've actually tried to sit down with him and watch this thing and say, what is this about? Maybe it is me who doesn't understand. I don't know. You know? So the social development of a child. Can they go out there and be? Can they communicate?
Yes.
Can they? Because these things don't teach communication as such. I had another discussion some time back of children who live in Nairobi, but they're talking as if they're in the UK because they're watching the Cocomelons and they're talking like Wazungus and blah, 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 you know.
Hey.
So, do they really know what they're saying? Or wewe ni bora mtoto ameongea Kiingereza. Unaona? Can they go
Kiingereza
and actually,
of the nose.
Yes, of the nose. Can they go and communicate with the next person?
Yeah.
Can they... My teaching life, and I think this is where I actually came back to the beginning,
yes,
is I started at college level. I was teaching law.
Okay.
You know, I've taught at various institutions here in Nairobi. And I've also been an employer for quite some time.
Okay.
And what you realize is you have a child in college level who cannot write an official letter.
Yep.
You have somebody applying for a job, but they cannot write. You have a teacher applying for a job, but their grammar. And you're like, is this grammar the grammar you're coming to teach these children? You know, so communication is not just talking what they're learning on TV.
Yes.
You know, it is actually talking, because we also have the journalism club in our school. You know, so we are starting with the basics of communication before we get to now me talking English of the nose with you.
Yes.
You know, do I understand what I'm saying? Can I write what I am saying? No.
Wow.
So those are the challenges with this our technology generation.
Yes.
You know, that we are actually photocopying what we are seeing on the screens.
Yes.
You know, without coming to the level of the ground.
Yeah. Yes. There's another point I think somebody mentioned to me that I've picked also from what you're saying. When we talk about even social skills, we are raising a generation that cannot deal with failure. Yeah. So, because they have never lost in real life. They lose in games, then they restart. You lose in a game, you restart. So, in real life, you don't know what failure means because you have never failed. Our system does not allow you to be graded based on, okay, now we removed ranking and all that, and I believe there's good reasoning behind that. So, what has happened to our children now is, if they are rejected, and I think I need to give a disclaimer there. I'm not a psychologist. But my thinking of where we are at, you know, in society is that somebody is in a relationship, they are rejected, they feel they need to commit suicide. True. Or their parents say something, or kill. Somebody is, you know, denied something by their parent, they feel they need to threaten to commit suicide, etc. But it is because they never really dealt with defeat. We played games, we competed, we failed.
And they laughed at you. and you're playing kati,
Yes.
and you're playing,
Yes.
and you see all these were psychomotor skills,
Yes.
because you're catching a ball and you're throwing a
Yes.
ball and you know,
Yes.
you're all
Yes.
over, you're
Yeah.
jumping and
Yeah.
you're failing. Your team is losing.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And you know tomorrow is another day.
Yes. Yeah.
You know tomorrow we shall win.
Yes.
And even if we don't win tomorrow,
Yes. Yeah.
we can always play another day.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're very right in
Yes.
that aspect.
Yeah.
That we don't know how to fail.
So because of that, then we really need to find ways of reintroducing competitions. And I'm glad we still have those competitions, even with government schools, private schools, so that now with some of these activities, if, for example, you put children in a place and tell them, you know, do this, guys. If somebody fails, they know. Even if they fail, they have felt it. But then they are able to learn how to deal with it.
There's always tomorrow.
Yes. Wow.
It's unfortunate. Yeah. But it's the reality.
Yes. Okay. Wow. I'm being told we are running out of time. So maybe we can just look at the activities. Maybe what do you have?
Okay. Again, as I said earlier, we are having controlled activities.
Yes. Yes.
We have activities for the younger children.
Yes.
And we have activities for the older children.
Yes.
For the older children, we have cooking.
Okay.
Which at the end of the day we'll have the cooking competitions
Wow.
and all that. We have the skating.
Okay.
We have the football.
Yes.
For the younger ones, we have the ballet. And ballet is not only for girls.
Hey, okay, me ballet. Okay, I've no problem with boys in ballet. The only thing I wonder is our African children are not necessarily small.
Yeah.
So if you have children that are not particularly slender, can they do ballet?
They can.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Because ballet is about learning the art of grace and balancing.
Okay.
You know, just moving with grace. I actually enjoyed watching those children doing ballet. So they can do it.
Yes.
Yes, they can actually do it. So for the younger ones, we have the ballet. We still have the skating. We have football. You know, so you're allowing them to come and we have the modern dance, because again we just know these parents and the children, they are TikTok children.
Yes.
So ukianza kuwekea jazz and they don't even get what you know.
Yes.
Because you have to have activities that also speak to the children.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
They've never had jazz anywhere, including their parents. Then you want to come and tell them to start dancing those, you know. So as much as they're doing that one, then do something just for them. Because as I told you earlier, we do for the children, you know. So something purely for them is also good. So we also have the modern dance aspect.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just look at it. What is the reasoning behind what you're doing for the older children and then for the younger children as well? Why that difference? I know it may sound obvious, but just tell us.
Number one, safety.
Okay.
Number two, the older might actually know what they want. Again, we don't want the parent to come and tell us, I want my child to play football. You know, we have talent and we have interest.
Yes.
And those are two very different things.
Oh, please explain that.
Because you can be talented in something, but you don't have an interest in it.
Oh, okay.
You know, or you can have an interest in something you're not talented in.
Okay, I get it.
But you see, interest brings about consistency.
Yes.
And consistency brings about the knowing, because nobody is born knowing everything.
Correct.
You know, even the driving, you'll find, I have done driving, you have done driving, but I don't have an interest. You know,
Yes.
so I will not drive.
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah. So the interest versus the talent of the child, more than what the parent, because I want my child to dance ballet and I want them to be graceful. They want to play football and be rough. What do I do?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Wow. Lovely. Okay, so online I'm seeing there's somebody, Princess Julie, says she's enjoying this discussion. I need to hear more. Thank you so much, Princess Julie. We hope that you have heard more and that you are getting informed, educated, you know. Personally, I think I'm getting transformed. Yeah, I'm beginning to see what I need to do even for my own children. So it's really, really transformational. Okay, so You have those activities. So for the younger ones, how long are the activities?
The activities will run for, we are closing for 4 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
So the first week, of course, is this one going into Easter.
Okay.
Which Easter will start on Friday, yeah?
Yes.
So most schools are closing on Wednesday and Thursday. So we are going all the way that week. We are leaving it.
Okay.
We are starting the other week on Wednesday.
Okay.
We are doing the 2 weeks.
Okay.
Then we are leaving them with the last week.
Ah.
Yeah, so that they can be able to do their own things if they have
Okay.
homeworks. But again, we are not. It's not a full day activity.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
we are doing 3 hours a day. You know, it's just enough time for a child to get out,
Yes.
breathe in some fresh air, do something activity based.
Yes. And then go back.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So just in finding the balance, where is the balance between fun and education? How do we balance the activities and the need to actually focus on academia and push the children as well?
The two are important. A friend of mine told me, children don't come to school to learn.
Okay.
They come because the environment is nice.
Wow.
And they come because their teacher is nice. And they come because there are nice things in school. And like in our school, we have a lot of toys for the children. Educational toys, because we learn colors and shapes and whatever, all through toys. Yeah. So they don't come to school to learn. Learning finds them. In the process of a nice teacher, they will listen to that teacher.
Yes.
So the first instance is for the child to learn to trust the teacher. Once I trust you, I can listen to you. Once I listen to you, I learn.
Well, no, that's a heavy one. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is all, especially these younger
ones,
children.
yes,
You know,
yes.
yeah, if they don't want to come to class and you're pumping them, no, they will not learn anything. Yeah. Again, as I've told you, the esteem affects the learning.
Yes.
You know, so once you've built the esteem of the child in the activity, in class they will learn.
Wow.
You know, because they know I am good at something. If I am good at this one, I can also be good at this one. You know, and they're like, maybe if I don't play well, and you parents, you're threatening children. Next time, sita kulipia ballet. You know, yeah. So if because of that, they will put in the work.
Yes.
Because of that.
Yes.
Activity that they want to do.
Yeah.
Some are giving it as a gift for the children. You learn this one well, I will give it to you. You know, yeah. And so they learn. Okay. Children learn.
Wow.
Yes, children are sponges. They just absorb everything you give. But it has to come from their attitude first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. I think those were some heavy points. So we need to develop trust. The children need to trust us for them to learn from us, for them to consistently listen and to create an environment that allows them to really open up and wow.
Because again, you'll find children also learn bad behavior. You know?
Yeah.
And sometimes they learn by seeing.
Yes, true.
You will tell the behavior of a parent from what their children are doing. You know, when their children are loud and they can abuse others, they are getting it from somewhere.
Yes.
You know, so children learn. Learning is not an issue. They will learn.
Yeah.
Good, bad, they will learn. They learn from you as a parent because you are the next adult. They trust you as their parent, so they learn from you.
Wow.
Good and bad.
Wow. All right. Yes. Viewers, unfortunately, that's all we had time for. There is so much more we could talk about, but that's all we had time for today. So I will just ask Belinda if you can tell us again where your school is, so that people can know. Is the program only for your students or others in the environs can come? and then maybe where people can get you on social media so that they can find out more. So in just about 30 seconds or so, then we wind up.
So our school is called Blue Sapphire School.
Yes.
It is in Obama Estate, Kayole Junction, Kangundo Road.
Yes.
So that is where we are.
Okay.
The activity is open.
Okay.
For children within and without our school.
Yes.
So all children can come in and learn something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else did you ask?
Anything you want to say to the parents or anyone? Just 10
anyone,
seconds.
if you want to open a school, it will try to kill you.
Before it stabilizes.
Before it stabilizes, it will actually try to kill you.
Wow.
So, yeah, be ready. It's not an easy journey.
Yes.
For the parents, let us keep parenting. Let us embrace CBC.
Yes.
It's a good system. It's
Yes.
a very good system. Let us allow our children to be CBC based. Academics are important, but so is the well-being of the child, mentally, physically, and all that. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Viewers, that's all we had time for. I've been your host, Laureen Magotsi. This has been the Thursday Morning Digest from Elevate TV, where we are advancing kingdom lifestyle. Until next time, thank you and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Every man of God must remain focused in the ministry.
A pastor needs prayer, care, love, and encouragement.
You have to have a mentor, someone you can be able to obey, to love, to submit to.
What these pastors and leaders should do